Hello, everyone. Welcome to the HubSpot Developer Platform Product Showcase and AMA. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As a reminder, some of what you hear today includes forward-looking statements. We cannot guarantee it will happen, so please do not make decisions based on these statements alone. Okay, now that that's over, I'm Lori Chen, Group Product Manager here at HubSpot, and I'm joined by our amazing team today. Together, we're thrilled to introduce the new HubSpot Developer Platform with a deep technical showcase combined with a series of live demos. This new major release is an evolution on how you build apps for HubSpot by bringing the best of our entire developer offerings into a single unified experience. And what this means for you is a more modern and productive developer experience. The ability to build more deeply integrated, feature-rich HubSpot applications so you can make your customers even more productive. And a more flexible foundational platform, allowing HubSpot to bring innovation to you faster. During this demo-heavy presentation, we're going to give you a complete walkthrough of our new developer platform. Then, we will give you a chance to engage with the product team behind this new platform release. We'll cover everything from tooling that meaningfully increases your productivity, new opportunities for you to build more capable and deeply integrated HubSpot apps, and we'll give you a sneak peek into the new features that are actively under development to show you how our unified platform allows us to bring more innovation to you faster. We'll wrap up with a quick view into our longer-term roadmap, followed by an AMA with the team. Before jumping into the demos, let's get a little deeper into what's actually different with our new platform. First, there's no more private versus public apps. Before this new HubSpot developer platform, you were faced with a choice before you even began development. Do you want to publish to the marketplace and distribute your app broadly, or are you building exclusively for one or a few customers? While this may be an obvious choice in many cases, we also notice this occasionally introduces a barrier to innovation. Let's say you were contracted to build out a private app that found immediate product market fit with your client. You realized there was an opportunity to build a business on that concept and want to distribute it on the marketplace. Well, first, you basically need to rewrite your application from scratch, as private and public apps were incompatible. Or maybe you just want to build out a rapid prototype or a proof of concept by leveraging the easier getting started experience that private apps with static authorization credentials provide. Well, if that work does find success, that private app becomes throwaway work when you want to create a public app. That world is no more. We have made it so distribution is a choice, represented by configuration. You can start with private distribution and eventually decide you'd rather distribute it to the marketplace. Another difference is a unified developer experience. To build public apps, you had to create a separate, isolated developer portal with a different set of tools than private app developers who worked out of a customer's account with CRM development tools. That method of tooling is a thing of the past. Now, all developers building HubSpot apps will have a unified developer experience inside of HubSpot with a consistent and a familiar set of developer tooling. Your developer portals will also now have free HubSpot CRM capabilities to help you grow your own development business. Finally, the new developer platform has an easier extensibility framework. We've made it easier for the entire HubSpot product to offer opportunities for extensibility. This new platform release starts that journey with many new extensibility components, including more UI flexibility with additional UI extensibility surfaces in HubSpot, configurable app objects, giving those of you who are distributing your apps on the marketplace an object schema that is completely under your control. the ability to equip new Breeze agents with AI tools built on the custom workflow actions framework, and an evolution of timeline events called app events, allowing you to publish event data on an expanded list of supported object types. And this, it's just the beginning. We have so much more cooking up for you as we continue to build on this new platform foundation. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, how could HubSpot build this transformational platform that's also high quality in such a short time frame? Well, that's a great question. Many of you probably know that developer projects and React-based UI extensibility, they've been in public beta in some form or another for several years. This platform builds on those years of learnings, and it represents the very first time our React-based UI extensibility framework being officially generally available. Now, without further ado, I'm thrilled to hand it off to Robin to give a demo on developer experience improvements.
Thanks, Lori. Go ahead and share my screen. Great. Awesome. Hi, everyone. If we haven't already met yet, my name is Robin Narragon, and I'm the product manager for developer growth in HubSpot's developer product group. So you all just heard about some of the exciting updates we've made to our developer platform, and I'm excited to demo a few of these for you now. Before we jump in, though, I know many or most of you are probably pretty seasoned HubSpot developers, but I want you to think back to when you were first getting started on HubSpot. What was your experience like? How long did it take you to learn the platform? How about getting to Hello World or getting your first app in front of a stakeholder? We were hearing from our developers that it was taking them days or weeks just to figure out how to build on HubSpot's platform. So we set out to change that this year. Let's take a look at our new getting started experience. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my first new exciting announcement that you might have already seen, but we have a brand new developer docs site. We've moved our docs to Mintlify, an industry-leading documentation platform built for developers. As part of this migration, we've updated the structure of our content based on feedback from developers like yourselves, and we've created a new look and feel for the site, including, I'm gonna move this guy, dark mode. So you see in the top level nav that our docs are no longer bucketed under guides and reference. Instead, we've structured the docs so that they really guide you along your development journey, whether you're getting started, building apps, creating CMS content. And then we've also restructured our API content to match our Postman collection. So you can see that here. And then we've also restructured our API guides so that they're in line with the reference content. So you can see the guide information for the API before jumping into the individual reference documentation. And then being on Mintlify's platform also means that we get access to their state-of-the-art search and AI chat features. So let's go ahead and try that out. I can type something into the search bar, like create an app, and we'll get the search results. And I can also open their AI assistant. We can also open it from up here too, but you'll see it starts searching the site and then gives me steps to get started. So just like that, you have a virtual assistant right at your fingertips. And as I mentioned, the docs are now live. Please give them a try. Let us know what you think. And then we're also excited to share that we have a brand new developer account experience, which Lori mentioned. So gone are the days of going between different account types to build different types of apps. Now you can do everything in one unified account with the power of the CRM behind you. And you'll see all of your development tools in a centralized space here. The page that we're currently on is the new developer overview page in its empty state. So unlike before, where these pages were maybe just static text or checklists, this page is actually going to automatically update after you've uploaded your first project and will continue to update to reflect where you are in your journey. So you also might have seen this new get started command in the chat and now on this page. And you might be wondering, Robin, what's this new get started command? Well, let me show you. So HS Get Started is our new onboarding experience, which is designed to help you go through the end-to-end building process on HubSpot's platform and build a Hello World app with an app card in 5 minutes or less. So I'm going to go ahead and open this in my terminal. Make sure this is big enough to see. Great. So we're going to go ahead and run HS Get Started. And like I mentioned, it's going to be a new kind of hand-holdy walkthrough. Again, it's designed for when you're coming to HubSpot for the first time and building for the first time. And it's going to walk me through, I can build apps or CMS content. And then it's going to tell me that typically when you're building, this is the command you would run. But for the purpose of this flow, it's just going to go ahead and execute the commands for me. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a name. And it's going to create the project in a folder. Oh, did it go ahead? Well, let's see. Let me try starting again. I don't know if I'm just going to start. 1 second. I don't know if it's my internet being slow. Take 2. HS Get Started. Nothing like a live demo. So I'm going to create an app. We'll give it a name again. Oh, I'm going to just rename it then. Encore Demo. Perfect. Okay, so there we go. Now it's installing the dependencies. And again, it's going to tell me this is what you would usually run, but this has now been uploaded for me, or I'm going to upload it now actually. So it's telling me you typically would run HS project upload, but I'm going to just go ahead and put yes, upload it now. Now it's uploading the project for me. And we can see that it was uploaded successfully. And you notice also in the background, my developer overview has updated since I've uploaded my first project. And then that's just one piece of getting started. So since we're creating a Hello World app with an app card, the next step is to actually install my app in the portal. So I'm going to go ahead and install my app. And then this is going to take me into the portal where I can connect the app. And then since it has an app card, we're going to want to add that app card to a record so we can see the app card. So this is going to walk me through how to do that. We're going to manage locations, add the new card, save, and then let's go ahead and view it on a contact record. There we go. And down here, we see the new Get Started app. And just like that, you have an app configured that you can go show your stakeholders. And then we can come back here, complete onboarding. And there we go. You've completed Get Started. And now we give you some more steps to try out moving forward. And then you'll see the return experience of the overview. So now you'll see your builds, API usage, product updates. And again, this page will continue to update as you move through your journey. So that was a lot. Let's just recap what we did. So we looked at the new developer docs, which are now on Mintlify's AI native platform and have an updated content structure as well as dark mode. We also visited the new combined developer and CRM account experience with the new dynamic developer overview that will change throughout your journey. And then another feature of these accounts that I didn't demo, but I wanted to highlight is the new developer seat. Developer seats allow you to add unlimited developer users to your account, just like in the old experience, where these developer users can access development tools at no additional cost to you. And lastly, we went through the new onboarding experience, creating a Hello World app that can be used as an early prototype and launchpad for iteration. Which, speaking of iterating, let's get back into the return experience. So if I go in, open terminal again, I'm going to go ahead and open my project. Okay. And then for the purpose of the demo, I'm actually going to go ahead and open this in Cursor. So we have this here. And you might have caught at the end of I don't know, I pointed it out, but at the end of the onboarding flow, we have that modal with additional steps. One of those steps was to run the new command HS project add. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. And HS project add is a new command that allows you to easily add new components, which you can see the list of them here. And this just, again, allows you to quickly scaffold on top of your app as well. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to do another card. I think it's just loading. There it goes. Okay, so it's successfully added. And now let's say I want to actually add some more content to this card, because right now it's just an empty card. That's easier than ever now with the new developer MCP server. You can easily set this up by running HSMCP setup. And it's going to ask you where you'd like to add this. So I'm just going to do Cursor. Since I'm in Cursor, great. So now that's configured. And I have a prompt that I have ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and add this, and I'm going to create a digital pet app within my new card. So we have this new blank card, and I'm going to just ask it to name my pet Matilda, because I have a black lab named Matilda, and it's going to have her hunger, energy, happiness. It's going to be interactive, nothing complex, just make it work. And then also search HubSpot Docs for best practices. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and you'll see it start creating a to-do list, make this a little bigger, and it's going to start running some of those calls. This might take a little, so you might see some polls pop up on your screen as well. But also, I just wanted to call out that you might have tried vibe coding an app in the past on our old platform, and I don't know how that might have turned out for you. We found that you were probably given pretty disjointed directions, just given, again, the disjointed nature of our platform. So now that we are on the unified platform, this makes agent-assisted coding a lot more reliable. Here we go. Okay. So we can see that it's created the card. It's gone over what it's done. And then I'm just going to tell to upload the project, which is essentially writing H's project upload. And I was joking at Inbound too. It'd be fun if Cursor had some little Jeopardy music or something that played while you're sitting waiting and watching it code. Okay, that's running that. And I've also found that even when using Cursor, if there are any errors or anything, the developer MCP server makes it a lot easier to debug on HubSpot. I can just copy and paste in the error or what I was seeing, and often it'll just make adjustments for me. So that's been great. Awesome. So that's been uploaded. Now leave those changes. And then to preview my work, I'm actually going to use the other command that we highlighted at the end of the onboarding flow, and that's the new HS project dev command. So this is going to run the new local dev panel. I'm going to open this in my production account, and I'm going to open my new card. And then this is going to open the local dev panel. So with the local dev panel, you can see details about your session and preview components to test changes in real time. You can see my new card here, and I'm going to go set up a preview of this. So similarly to what we did with Get Started, it's going to say ready for setup. Let's go manage locations again. We're going to add the card, come back to my contact record, and here we go. My new little Tamagotchi pet card. So we have Matilda here. You can see her hunger, energy, happiness levels. Looks like she might need to nap a little. Maybe she wants to play, get fed, and we can see that she's happy. So that was kind of a quick overview of how fast it is to iterate on HubSpot now. And then one other thing I want to show you that I know is something folks have been asking for a long time, and that is configurable test accounts. So now you can customize your test accounts to have different subscription tiers, allowing you to test your work across different environments. So you can go ahead and see that here. You can also create test accounts from the CLI, customizing through either a guided prompt or by uploading a test account configuration file, enabling you to automate the creation of your test accounts as part of your testing workflows. Then once your account is created, you can actually import data into your test accounts now using the new CRM data import command. Again, that was a lot. So let's go ahead and recap. So we have improved the development inner loop with new scaffolding commands like HS project add and HS project create, which I didn't demo, but encourage you to go check out. It's similar. It allows you to easily scaffold a project. And then we also have the new developer MCP server and local dev panel. We also give developers dynamic testing environments now, along with developer profiles, which I wanted to highlight, and then those will also allow you to further streamline building and testing apps. So I got to demo a number of new features for you today, but we have even more that will be shown later in the session, and actually some more I want to call out before I leave you. The first being GitHub Actions. So GitHub Actions now allow you to automate your development process, help you improve your code quality, and increase developer productivity while building on our platform. And then lastly, we're excited to launch log sync integrations with Honeycomb and Sentry. so that you can access HubSpot telemetry in your platform of choice. This also allows you to integrate with applications you might already be using, like PagerDuty, to make observability even more flexible. So in summary, we're so excited to bring you these modernized platform features that were designed to help you build more easily, more quickly, and more reliably on HubSpot's developer platform. Here are all the ways we made it easier to build deeper and richer integrations on HubSpot. Now I'll pass it off to Roger to demo how you can build more capable apps on our platform.
Thanks, Robin. So for those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Roger Brown, and I'm a senior product manager working on app foundations and developer platform group at HubSpot. And I'm going to share today how partners are already building these rich native apps on the developer platform with all the updates that we recently launched, and also what's a preview of what's coming next. So you just heard Robin talk about how we've improved the developer experience, but now I want to show you what's possible with some of the new app features and APIs that we launched. And we'll start by looking at some live partner demos, things that our partners have already created using these features that bring kind of these into real life customer scenarios. So you get to see how they've executed on them. And then I'll highlight how some of those features enabled what you saw, and then why they matter for partners and customers in our ecosystem. So let's start with a partner who's already has a few different listings in the marketplace, and that's Growth Operations. They built a new applicant tracking system using a number of different native HubSpot features, the new ones that bring the full solution to customers end to end. And for those of you that aren't aware, recruiting is kind of one of those areas where companies rely on specialized workflows and have to juggle a bunch of different tools to make work. And that can be disconnected from their HubSpot instance and the sales and marketing functions of the company. So that creates friction and it's expensive to manage, and the data gets siloed, and the recruiters lose time switching context between systems. So what Growth Operations set out to do was to unify that and bring that app into HubSpot in a fully native way. So we're going to take a look at that now. And the first thing that you'll notice with this app is that there is a career page that's created automatically when you install the app. And this is using CMS themes and templates behind the scenes. But probably the most important thing to call out is that every position listed on this page is coming, including the titles, the departments, the locations, descriptions. It's all being pulled directly from the ETS jobs app object that's defined in HubSpot. And so this data is coming in real time based on what's defined by the app object that's powering this behind the scenes. And so let's take a look at how that is represented now. And you can see we are in the ATS jobs object now from this is a customer who has the application installed. And you can see I have a list of all of the applications, the jobs that were posted on the career site that we were just taking a look at before. And you'll notice that this looks and feels just like any other standard object in HubSpot, and that's because it is. Growth Operations defines this schema once, and it's consistent across all of their installs. And so in the past, partners used to have to rely on custom objects, which have to be managed separately for each of their customers and installs. And enforcing a shared schema was challenging between those installs. And then also where this feature was enabled only for enterprise tier customers. So app objects remove all of those previous barriers. So let's take a look at adding a new job now. So I'll create a staff engineer job, and you'll see that once we add it like any other record, it's instantly included and updated on that career site that we were just looking at. And so there are a number of different configuration options here, and you can see how they're utilizing app cards to showcase different features. So one of the things I'll go ahead and do is configure a ATS office location. So where this position is based, and we'll say it's based in the Boston HQ. And you can see right now that there are no applications currently for this post or this job because I just created it. It's also using our standard application form through the website so that when users are uploading the resume and other things, the form that's being applied there is the default one that we've configured. And so all of this information in the interface looks exactly like other records inside of HubSpot, and this can be fully customized like any other view by the underlying customer using this app in their account. And so now let's take a look at adding a new application for this position. So I am going to create a new candidate, Fiona Full Stack, who is applying for the staff engineer role. And just like the job record, you just submit that and it's automatically shown. And the first thing you'll notice is that we have a full activity stream of all of the updates that are happening to this application in real time. And this is being powered by the standard, the object event logging, but also I'll show in a second how this is taking advantage of app events, which is a new feature. So Fiona Full Stack is here. I'm not going to add any specific information. You can upload resume if I wanted to do this manually, but I think the most important thing to look at is the pipeline and configuring the pipeline. So I'm going to use the standard candidate pipeline. All of this is configurable for each install. And I'll say that she is moving to the application review stage. And so I've saved and updated that for her application. And if we come back and refresh the activity stream, you'll notice now that we've logged an entry here for her application, that I moved her application to review, and there's a link to the details here. And so this is a big step forward for partners looking to add eventing to their application. So previously you would have used timeline events or something like that, but that is not treated as first-class data inside of our platform. With app events now, customers have full visibility into everything that's happening, and they can be leveraged across workflows, reporting, and many other surfaces, which is powerful for users to automate. So one last thing I wanted to call out about this application specifically is their use of app settings. So like we were taking a look at when configuring the forms for submitting applications and configuring the candidate pipelines, all of that is defined in this new custom settings page, which they created, which has links to their web application and other things about configuring. Also, setting up and your office locations, your job posting forms, and alerting and monitoring specifically for different event types inside of the system. So all of this is built using our UI extensions and basically the functionality that we debuted kind of last year. And the settings page is a surface for you to create your own rules and data modeling. And this can be interacting directly with your APIs on your side for storing data remotely. And this is a huge improvement for customers because previously settings could only be managed through our limited WYSIWYG kind of editing interface. But now you as partners have full control over everything that's happening here in this space, and it provides customers a really native and seamless experience. So going back to the slides, what used to be fragmented and kind of disjointed across different surfaces is now fully unified. And this process of manual job postings, disconnected candidate updates, clunky configuration is now fully native inside of HubSpot using the ATS application, what they've built using these features. And so with app objects, app events, app settings, Growth Operations built a recruiting solution that feels just like HubSpot itself. It's consistent, it's powerful, and deeply integrated. And so in the demo, we just saw the candidate and job data was being modeled natively in HubSpot. And this was coming via app objects. Historically, partners have had two difficult options to choose from: either force their data into standard objects that didn't quite fit their need, or try to use custom objects. And as we talked about, custom objects came with their own challenges, mainly that they're not able to enforce a shared schema across accounts, and they're limited to only enterprise tier subscriptions. And so this made management painful and restricted partner reach. App Objects solves this by providing a unified schema across all customers and they provide partners with the flexibility that they need and the reliability that customers expect. So the result is scalable native data that feels truly integrated into HubSpot and is a really powerful update to the platform. The next thing you might have noticed is that once the right data model is in place, the next challenge is capturing what actually happened with that data. And so things like interviews scheduled, offers sent, or candidates moving forward is something that we have to represent and model inside the application and give customers access to that. And so app events represent the next generation of timeline events, and they bring all of this event data in as structured and first class to our platform. And that means richer metadata and flexible filters that are available to customers to use across other object types. But most importantly, they can now use that with their analytics, reporting, workflows, lists, scoring, and many other places across HubSpot. And so the problem of events being siloed and kind of underutilized is now solved with deep, actionable insights and automation that's woven directly into HubSpot using app events. And the final piece that we shared was the challenge around configuration. And so customers need to be able to set up things like their hiring stages, approval rules, or notification preferences, but giving them a clean and unified experience hasn't always been easy. And so we previously offered a WYSIWYG app editor, which we called the settings editor. And while it worked for simple use cases, it was limited and rigid, which resulted in some frustrating customer experiences. And we're trying to remove anything complex about managing these settings so they function just like the other surface areas where you're building UI extensions, right? And that gives you a lot more power and flexibility to build custom pages that connect directly to your APIs, which provide customers a much richer and more tailored configuration experience overall. And so customers, they get the benefit of feeling native inside of HubSpot, and you as partners get way more flexibility without compromising usability. And so let's take a step back now and kind of think about how these things come together. And so you're building all these richer apps with your own objects, events, and settings. But today, customers often struggle to find and use those apps. And so navigation is fragmented, it gets buried, and apps can feel bolted on rather than native. And that's why we're introducing App Home. And App Home acts as the front door for a partner's app in HubSpot. And so for the first time, we're giving you the ability to deliver full web app-like experiences natively inside HubSpot. And so I'm going to share what that looks like now using a not real example, so not an actual partner's app, but something I built to showcase a few different features. And so we're looking now at this onboarding page. And so this is the first thing that customer sees when they install the application. And you can see that there's a checklist that I've created here. You can use this to manage customers through step-by-step instructions, like creating their accounts, setting up data, and other things. And this shortens the time to value and makes onboarding much smoother. I've also built this overdue task section, which shows you, the table element and ways that you can create more urgency inside of your application and use some of those other elements in here. And this is a powerful way for you to expose key features and prevent churn on your platform and other things. And the final one is analytics, which is using our chart components, which you can take your data from outside or even the data that we have from HubSpot customers and render this using our charting library into meaningful representations that help provide customers value and insight into what's going on with your application or within their instance. And so if I were to go back to the homepage, and then I'll also just quickly mention that this is discoverable from the marketplace listing. So we created quick links to the most recent app home pages from that. So that drastically improves discoverability from customers and how they find and access this. And you can create more synergy between this UI and the other features of your app as well that I covered kind of in the first demonstration. But you can also notice how we can provide kind of a deep cross synergy between the app home experience and settings page. So in this particular case, I have a setting page that's handling the account setups stage in the onboarding checklist. And here I've built a settings page using, again, just the forms library and the UI components for this. And so, for the first time now, you have the ability to build these kind of more complicated and sophisticated web applications inside of HubSpot that feel native to customers and are, very specific to your app's needs. And so we think this opens up a tremendous number of possibilities for you to design experiences for customers, like I said, that feel native to HubSpot. One more thing to cover is that we've also introduced agent tools, and this is an exciting new way for your apps to enhance Breeze agents that are being customized and used by customers. And so you have traditionally been limited to pushing or pulling data in your apps and leaving most of the work to the end user. But now, as customers adopt AI and Breeze into their workflows, the demand will grow for apps that can actually take action on behalf of users using AI capabilities. And that's where agent tools come in. And they allow partners to be able to build tools that HubSpot agents can call when carrying out their instructions. And so this empowers agents to take meaningful action on their behalf, whether that's creating, updating, optimizing various data, or generating content. And so the problem of AI without real execution power is now solved with these customizable partner-built tools that help extend AI into customer workflows. And so for partners, this unlocks a whole new opportunity for you to differentiate your app and its capabilities. And for customers, it delivers smarter, more capable assistants that help to solve their problems, save them time, and add value. So we know that this is kind of new territory for a lot of folks, and Breeze is very new as a product, particularly Breeze agents. And so we want to build this with your help, and we value your input here. So we know that AI kind of feels like a bit of a black box, and that's kind of hard to understand when to start or connect in some meaningful way. And so we now have a public beta where you can participate and get started with these tools, which gives you a safe environment to test and give us feedback and help us create the first wave of AI-powered integrations in HubSpot. And if you're interested, you can sign up today from our developer site, or you can use this QR code. We'd love your support in getting this feature for broader ecosystem adoption. And so just to recap kind of what we covered and what's new with the platform only in the past month. First is app objects, and they deliver a unified schema to model data natively across HubSpot install customers. App events are the next generation of timeline events, and they turn actions into first-class data customers can action everywhere. App settings give partners full React-powered customization for seamless native configuration. And these are all available to partners today using the new platform, and you can try them out inside of your accounts and give us feedback on them. Then we have 2 beta products that are also launching that you can also use. App homes give you a front door to create full web app-like experiences directly inside HubSpot. And agent tools unlock AI-powered actions so your apps can work with HubSpot AI agents, not just alongside them. And so before I close out, I just want to take a quick poll of you all and see which new capability that I covered are you most excited to use with your app. Let's see. I can't vote. I don't get a vote. Okay, looks like the overwhelming favorite was app objects. Yep, we're very excited about that and other features, and we're happy to help you get up and running with those as you have questions. So my challenge to all of you is this: it's to start imagining what you can build with all these features, whether you're reinventing your onboarding experience or simplifying workflows, you're driving retention or trying to create entirely new customer experiences. You now have the power to kind of make that real with a number of these things that we've launched, and we have many more planned for the future. So please dive in and experiment and help us shape the future of HubSpot's ecosystem together. And hopefully we can unlock a whole new world of possibilities for apps inside of HubSpot together. Now I'll hand it over to Sejal to talk about how all this innovation is going to help partners achieve faster time to value.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Roger, for wonderful demos. Hi, I'm Sejal. I'm Sejal Parikh. I work as a staff product manager at HubSpot, and I work on MCP server and API platform. And prior to that, I have been working on UI extensions products as well. But who doesn't want faster time to value? At this time, we all want that. But specifically with the AI advancements that are happening today, it has different meanings as well. It sometimes refers to being able to leverage benefits that AI gives to get your task done much more effectively and hence faster. So if any of you have been thinking, why can't my favorite AI tool or AI agent just talk to my favorite CRM and get stuff done for me? Well, that's where we have MCP, Model Context Protocol, coming in. And that becomes a new game-changing standard. But before I go further from here, I first want to know with a quick poll, how many of you are familiar with MCP or Model Context Protocol?
Oh, I think we lost Sejal. Let's see, she might be able to join back in a second. I don't see the poll results, but I assume most folks have heard of MCP as a protocol. So, oh, okay, now I see the results. Actually, quite a few of you have not heard of it before, but a number of you are experimenting with it. So I think Sejal will join in 1 second, but I'll kind of pull up her slides to go along for now, and then she can take over when she's able to join again. So MCP is a new standard for agents to be able to talk to external systems. Let me just double check. Can everyone see my slides okay? Yeah, I think so. Oh, Sejal's back. But so you used to kind of have your data siloed in other places, and providing access to AI systems was challenging, right? But the MCP protocol kind of standardizes how those interfaces work. So any agent or system can now speak MCP and understand that protocol. They can now use the data inside of HubSpot from our remote server. So that changes how AI integrations happen or built. And we want you all to help us and be the first to use our new remote server with your applications and then agentic kind of interfaces. We started initially with a local MCP, which is available. That was for Claude Desktop back in April. And we saw that you wanted a better experience and something that was more consumer grade. So we've been investing time in trying to build and evolve on that initial implementation. Sejal, you want to take back over? Okay.
Take it over. Thanks, Roger, for filling in. Apologies, everybody. I had a power outage. All right. So Roger talked about our launch for the local MCP server. And one thing that we kept hearing again and again from all of you, especially the end users and customers who are trying to use that, is that it's very heavy lift using Claude Desktop. And that's where we followed up with native connectors for both ChatGPT and Claude. Both of these are MCP-based connectors, but that's not enough, because there are so many of you all that are building custom apps and app agents and other SaaS applications out there that we can't keep up with all of these. So now we have remote MCP server available in public beta. With this, you can now go a step further and you can bring HubSpot context directly into whichever app you own or your custom agents. And that opens up a world of new possibilities for AI integrations. And the most important aspect that we wanted to keep in mind for the first few launches is the security and data safety. And that is built in with user level permissions that I'm going to touch upon a little bit more next. This MCP server at the moment has read-only access to some of the key HubSpot objects. That includes contacts, companies, sales tickets like core CRM objects, and also some of the commerce objects like products, line items, codes, invoices, and more. And you can find the full list in the documentation as well. Like I said, let me expand a little bit more. I use in our labs because it's a nuanced concept and new for HubSpot developers. And then we'll go next into the demo. So user developed apps are new, and they're all about making your apps more contextual and much more safer. Users can now connect apps that they need, and apps access token that you get from HubSpot is scoped to one individual user's permission. So what I mean by that is if a user is allowed to see, and if they're not allowed to see something or view something in HubSpot, they can't view it in integration as well. And this also includes field level permission, not just object level permissions. And so we are starting with MCP server for the first use case for these type of apps, but it's just the beginning. And we see so much potential for this because this truly allows you to build contextual and personalized application for individual users' context instead of building one-size-fits-all solution that works for everybody. So without delay, let's get into the real demo of how to use these apps with HubSpot's MCP server. So over here, I have a developer project that has a user level app. We have a template that is available in the docs, and that is a sample app template that I'm using. If you see this app, there is a flag called is user level, and that is the flag that basically indicates that this app is a user level app. Now, if you go into the auth screen, this is where you will get your client ID and client secret, and just like you would use that for any OAuth application, now you'll take these credentials and go over to your OAuth application backend and start using this and making call to mcp.hubspot.com, just like you make any API call. But for this purpose, let me show you how to run a sample test in, say, OpenAI's Playground. I have installed this app into a test account that I have. And one thing to note is the install URL for this app. This /user slug basically indicates this is a user level app. And so I've already installed it. I'm using a sample OAuth backend. So this backend gives me access token and everything readily available. And this is what I'm going to use for OpenAI's Playground. Inside OpenAI's Playground, we have HubSpot's MCP server available directly out of the box. So you can get in and just click HubSpot. And you can get into a docs from here, but this is where I would add access token. Now, if you don't have access to this, you can also use MCP Inspector or Postman to make test calls and just to test around if your app works or not, and then start using that in your custom application or your SaaS integrations. But in this case, let's just copy this access token. I'll actually refresh this first, make sure this is latest, and copy and paste over here. And the first thing OpenAI Playground does is gets the list of all the tools, and it'll list all the tools here. And then you have a choice for any call you make. Do you want approval, necessary, or never? So for the ease of demo, I'm going to select never. But this is where you can see the list of tools. We have 5 tools available here, and you can find descriptions, input, metadata, and everything. Let's go ahead and add this. And the simplest call you can make right now is tell me the number of contacts in my HubSpot account. And it should get the list of contacts, number of contacts in my HubSpot account. So first call it makes is just getting all the list of tools. And once it gets a list of tools, it starts to reason about what tools to use. And first tool call that we have designed MCP server such that the first tool call is always made to get user details tool. This tool basically gets all of the users' basic details and account basic details and what scopes users have and what permissions that user has, so that it knows the user and users permissions a little more. And then it starts performing the search CRM object tool. And in this case, it is getting the number of contacts. You can see the number of contacts over here, and that is the number of contacts it listed down. So bingo, you made the first MCP call with this, and you can start using this in your backend to code custom AI agent with HubSpot's MCP server. Coming back to the slide. Now, there's another side of coin that we have is, what if you have a SaaS application and you want to bring your hosted, you can bring your MCP server and your app's context inside HubSpot's Breeze Studio. And this is possible with MCP server registry we have inside Breeze Studio. But very soon, you will also be able to plug these custom MCP servers inside your existing apps and have them show up in the studio as well. And HubSpot customers then can use your MCP server inside their custom agents that they are building inside the studio. This is coming soon. Watch out for the announcements. All of this is great, but what happens when you want to react instantly to any changes happening inside HubSpot? Like, for example, new lead coming in or a deal moving stages or anything else. And that's where webhooks v4 and journal APIs come in. You can now subscribe to exactly the events you care about. What I mean by that is like you can subscribe to a single property within single contact or even every deal updating in pipeline. You can go as granular as you want with this new journal endpoint, and it gets you reliable permission checked change log so that you don't have any more missed events or any data leaks from HubSpot. And it's all real time, super precise and secure by design. So to recap, we saw HubSpot's remote MCP server now available in public beta. We are actively inviting your feedback and learnings, so feel free to send us your feedback and use cases that we are not covering, and we would like to keep learning from you. And MCP server registry is coming soon, and do get in touch with us for that as well. And webhooks v4 and journal APIs and public beta, please use it and give us your feedback. These are all the different ways of moving data in and out of HubSpot and automating HubSpot actions. And this allows you to build AI-powered integrations much more effectively. So with that, I'll hand over to Laurie, who is going to walk us through how to move to all of this goodness more seamlessly and what's coming up next for HubSpot.
Hi, everyone. I'm back. We've covered a lot here today so far. I've been at HubSpot for 6 years, and this has been our biggest year for developers yet. And over the past 2 years, the pace of what we've delivered to you has been steadily accelerating. That's no accident. We've designed the developer platform to be the engine of HubSpot's innovation for developers. Beyond everything you've seen here today, here's a quick look at what's ahead and how we'll be bringing you more innovation to you faster and predictably. In fact, we have over 20 new features on our developer platform roadmap. I'm excited to highlight a couple streams of work. Well, no surprise, first, we are working on unlocking more customer and developer value with AI and MCP. We will continue to open up access to more HubSpot data through the HubSpot remote MCP server. Sejal just covered the public beta earlier, and we have more updates in the works, including write actions, personalization, unstructured data like engagements, expanded object support, and granular access control for admins. We're also working on enabling HubSpot to connect to app-provided MCP servers, and this will give your app a new way to show up in Breeze Studio. And we're working on generative project scaffolding to speed up your building process by generating more customized sample projects with a developer MCP server. Second, we will continue to invest in the developer platform with features like platform security modernization, release management, and deployment tooling. And all of this is to help you safely deploy the right functionality to the right user at the right time. Along those two themes, we're also in the planning stages for features like HubSpot Developer Agent, HubSpot Functions, and app versioning. Before we go on, we just want to pop up a quick poll on which of these features you'd find most helpful. All right, and HubSpot Developer Agent is our first one, followed by HubSpot Functions. Yes, we're very excited about these. And in fact, I'm going to be talking about HubSpot Functions in just a second. But before then, while all of this great new things coming to you is good news, we've heard from many of you that sometimes you feel overwhelmed with the pace of HubSpot's changes. We hear you. So we're introducing a new developer platform release cadence. It's aligned with our existing API versioning. This is a semi-annual cycle that will give you predictable speed you can plan around. So for each platform version, It will be supported for 18 months. And if you build an app on the current version of the platform, you're guaranteed stability and support for at least 12 months and at most 18. This means less time reacting to surprise changes and more time building for customers. Earlier, I mentioned HubSpot Functions as a feature in planning, and I want to take a moment to expand on it. A couple years ago, we released into public beta app serverless functions to power app cards in private apps available to enterprise customers. While they'll continue to work, app serverless functions are not yet supported on the new developer platform. And here's why. First, they have fragmented support. They only work for private apps with UI extensions on enterprise tiers. Second, they're hard to expand to new use cases. We need to do significant rework of our infrastructure in order to support the new flexible authentication, distribution, and new components on the platform. And third, well, actually, this is a good thing. Everyone can now build UI extensions with their own hosted backend on the new developer platform. HubSpot Fetch is now globally available for marketplace and custom apps. And best of all, it's generally available. We want to take time to solve for serverless right with HubSpot Functions. We envision it as a unified serverless compute solution for lightweight use cases that works across the entire developer platform. We believe this will bring long-term sustainable value for our developers and customers. So now you may be asking, should I migrate my app to the developer platform? We have detailed migration developer docs that could help you decide whether or not migration is right for your specific situation. But here are some general guidelines. For private apps, if you're just making API calls or subscribing to webhooks, migration is possible but optional. You can access all of the benefits of the new developer platform by building net new apps in your account without the need to migrate existing ones. If you have an app card private app using serverless app functions and you have core logic in your serverless, it makes sense to not migrate just yet and wait for HubSpot Functions. And if your app cards are powered by your own backend, but you're using serverless as proxy to it because you had to, well, the good news is you can now cut out serverless and directly hit your backend with HubSpot Fetch. You'll have to manually migrate your existing project, and our developer docs can show you how. Now, if you have a public app on the right side of this grid, then generally the answer is yes, you can migrate. And you can unlock new unified developer experiences for your team, as well as new extensibility for your install base. I'm going to brief very soon. Next, I'm going to be doing a demo of that automatic migration tool that we're providing you. But before I do, I'd love to pop up a quick poll to see what your potential migration plans are. And the results are in. We've got project private apps and UI-based project apps as two of the most popular ones in our audience. And, folks are waiting for serverless, right? And then we also have some folks who are looking to migrate ASAP. Great. Let's go on with the demo. So for the purpose of this demo, I am For the purpose of this demo, I'm an app partner with a production marketplace listed app and active customer installs. I manage my app and marketplace listings in my developer account. First, I would need to opt into the developer platform experience from the developer homepage. And I just need to click this CTA and confirm the opt-in here. Now, if you are a customer, a solution partner, or a customer developer, you automatically are getting the new developer experience. There's no need to opt in here. So once you do opt in a matter of minutes, you're going to have your developer account will be transformed into a combination of our free CRM tools as well as the new developer nav, and that's where you'll find all your development tools. If I click in there, my existing apps can be found in the legacy tab. And don't worry, they're not migrated yet. And as far as what your customers and installed, what new customers or existing customer can see, there's no difference. You can continue to update these apps with the tools that you've been using. So now I'm going to update my Pipeline Pilot Plus app, which was created by the old AI, the old UI, and I'm going to pop it over here into the CLI. Now, in the CLI, I've already connected my CLI to this account. And so I simply run a command called hs app migrate. And this this is for a UI defined apps, but if you have a project-based app on an older version of the platform, you can use HS project migrate instead. But I'm going to change that back and move on to the next step. Now it's going to check my account and show me all of the apps that are available for migration. I'm going to pick this one and confirm I'd like to proceed. Yes, this is an app with webhooks, and that's it. So give the project a name. I usually just give it the same name as my app, and confirm where I'd like to save the project files to my local machine after the migration. It's going to begin the migration and ask me to provide UIDs for my components and for my app. Now, UIDs are unique. They're uniquely associated with the file configuration for a project, and it ensures that we are updating the right records in our system when you re-upload the project. So for this, I'm just going to call it, and that's all it needs from you. Now it's going to be wrapping up migration. It's generating a project that mirrors your current app config. It sets up your app to be updated with projects. The app UI will now become read-only, and you'll update apps going forward with the project uploads. And when it's done, it will download the project locally. And you can now then update your app by editing your project. And through this entire process, we will preserve your app config, refresh and access tokens, install URLs, and app settings. And that means your existing installs and new installs, they'll continue to work uninterrupted. Okay, great. Looks like we're all done. I'm going to pop over to my CLI and take a look at what's inside. Okay. And what you see is that my app config, as well as my webhook configs, are now in project files. Let's take a look at what happened to our app inside the account as well. My Pipeline Pilot Plus app is now moved from legacy into projects UI. And the app UI the read-only app UI can now be found under projects with all of the ability to distribute your app. So now you can develop your lab app with all the great new features the team has just demoed to you today. So to recap, during the migration process, a lot remains unchanged. Your app configuration, your customer installs, existing and new ones, as well as your OAuth tokens, credentials, and install URLs, they all remain the same together with your app listings. There's no need to change any of them. What is different after migration is that your app is now managed with projects, and the app UI is now moved under projects as well. We hope you are as excited about this HubSpot developer platform as much as we are. To get started, simply visit us at developers.hubspot.com, or you can scan this QR code. And now we're going into bring everybody back on camera for the AMA portion of our session. All right. So shall we start with one question? I'm going to take the first one. Are third-party hosted serverless functions recommended even once HubSpot hosted serverless functions are supported in 2026? Well, the answer is it's really a design decision for you and your specific use case. Once HubSpot functions become available, you have a choice of either implementing your backend using serverless or doing so in your own hosted backend using HubSpot Fetch. The pros to hosting your own backend is that you have full control over infrastructure, scaling, performance, and external integrations. But the cons are that you need to implement an OAuth setup, and you'll have ongoing maintenance and hosting costs. With HubSpot Functions, it's meant for lightweight use cases. So the pro is that you don't need to implement OAuth to start. It's simpler to deploy. You just upload your project and your serverless gets updated. And you can make HubSpot data calls and events without, additional security implementation. However, it also comes with less control over your runtime environments and external dependencies, as well as it's, again, limited in terms of how much you can scale. So if you're expecting to scale in the near future, you can get started really quickly with serverless functions, and we'll need to migrate off of it at some point once you hit those limits.
I can grab. There's another question about developer seats. And if developer seats allow access to objects, workflows, CMS, etc., or if they just give you access to items in the development space. So it's the latter. If you think about, developer seats, the easiest way to think about them is if you remember the legacy developer account experience, what's kind of available in that space is apps, app listings, projects. Those pretty much it. So the developer seat is a way to allow you to still add unlimited developer users that can access the development space, and they'll be able to access everything in the sidebar of the development space. But if you want to have users access more functionality outside of that space, then you would have to assign them a core seat with the developer tools access toggle permission. So if you go to your permission settings, we still have a developer tools permission, and then you can assign that to a user that will grant them access to the development space, the same as the developer seat does. The developer seats, it's a standalone solution for you to be able to add those unlimited users, because in a free portal right now, I believe you can have 2 free users and then the rest would be paid. So again, this is a way to allow you to add developers at no additional cost, but they would just be able to access what's in the development space as a free user. So if someone, for example, also just has only a developer seat, when they log into your portal, the only thing they'll see is development, kind of making it like a developer account.
I have one quick thing to add there. I think developer test accounts can still be created inside with a relationship to that parent account where they're a developer. And inside the developer test account, they can have full super admin access to be able to verify the changes they're making in code and push those changes to the parent account, right? Which is the primary one for other users to QA and test. So that's kind of the mechanism we would recommend for folks.
I can grab a question that is waiting on. And Tracy says, I'm working with privacy-centric open source LLM that is making substantial inroads in union service organization and political arenas. And my question is this: if we roll out our MCP integration from HubSpot, what are the technical limitations, differences between capabilities of our own integration inside HubSpot versus the one that is offered in Gemini Cloud? I think this is exactly the reason why we released the remote MCP server. So you don't have to always use the integrations that is native with Gemini Cloud and ChatGPT, and you can build your custom MCP integration with the remote server that we have in your app, Tracy. The big security unlock that you will get is the permissions and field level permission, user level permission. Everything is respected, and your data is safe when you are using a HubSpot hosted MCP server. We ensure reliability and security on our end. So if you have more questions, reach out to me.
I think I'll take one from Patrick. And he said, okay, so my app is neither UI or projects then, and I'm guessing something very basic is missing. And I'm just kind of interpreting that. There was maybe another prior question, but I think we are getting this feedback from a number of different users. So I kind of wanted to address it in that with the new platform enablement, basically any app that you had created in the past is moved into what we call like the legacy app section. So you don't lose access to anything, just the way that they're presented to you is different because we are focusing more on project-based apps going forward. And so the main mechanism for creating all these things is to use projects framework and to use the CLI interface to create apps and use all the tools that we kind of demoed here to manage them. Anything that was done via the UI in the past can still be accessed, and you can still use that, but it has to be done from the legacy apps view. And so that's most likely where you're running into an issue. You just have to go there to find those things.
There's another one here. It's Will is asking, can you clarify if we should be using project in order to create an app that is used in HubSpot MCP and Agent Builder, or is a legacy app? All of the apps that you would need to create for getting OAuth credentials for using inside HubSpot MCP has to be the new project-based app, but they also user-level apps. So if you need to have the user-level app template, we manage it here. They are a new type of app, which gives the only difference is they are similar to your normal apps, but which are project-based, but the access token that HubSpot issues respects the individual users' permissions and scopes. And these are the apps that you need to create. So this is a template that you can use to build these apps.
I'm going to take one about UI. Will UI support sensitive scopes in the future? Yes. So we are making foundational changes to enable the ability for apps to be able to support sensitive data. And so it's no specifics on exact timing, but as part of our platform security upgrades, this is like there's some limitation to how our security can handle sensitive data, and so we'll be making changes to open that up in the future.
I have one that's kind of related to the other topic I brought up around legacy apps. And so Lucas raised a question around, what about migrating private apps in an account? Will the old token stay in place or the same, or do I have to change it after migration? And the answer is you don't have to change it. Basically, when you run the command, for private apps, we don't allow for migration actually. So there is no way right now to automatically migrate a private app to the new platform. You will have to create a new one. It is something that we're considering though. So I missed that point. Public apps, all the tokens and everything stay the same when they're moved over to the new platform. I have another one here. This one's come up a lot too. How long will legacy apps be supported? I think our plan is to ensure a very successful rollout of all the new functionality and features and stabilize that before we announce any formal plans to sunset legacy apps. But we plan to continue to support them through next year at least. So if there are gaps in features that you would like to see from us, I would feel free to submit in the feedback form. I've been suggesting that to a bunch of people in the Q&A, but there actually shouldn't be any reason to maintain those legacy apps because all the functionality exists in the new system. So that's the first thing, is make sure you kind of learn about the new functionality, get up to speed on that. And then the second thing is we don't plan on sunsetting those anytime soon. And we will obviously give a lot of notice when we decide to make a change to those plans. See a bunch of CMS questions. So generally speaking, so I'll kind of answer these together. Have there been any updates made to the CMS CLI dev experience and CMS theme-based apps? We use projects as the same underlying theme. So uploading projects is a pain. So there are a few features that are available now and supported on projects. Those are CMS themes and React modules. Those do use, so if you want to write CMS sites using React, you have to use projects. That is a requirement, and it's supported on the latest version of the platform. So you can use these new tools to manage the CMS components. Outside of that platform support, we haven't introduced any new major features to CMS development. Something we're considering, but at the moment, there aren't many updates coming to CMS developers.
I see one here from Scott. I currently have several private apps set up for object-specific webhooks. With webhooks for v4, would this be changing? Would these need to be moved into middleware? So webhooks v4 is in public beta, and we are planning to expand its capability to support existing webhook use cases as well. So you shouldn't expect to have to make any major changes there. Another one I think, Roger, you might be typing an answer. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, I get to just say that one out loud because I think there are a few serverless questions. That one in particular was asking, will the new serverless offering be supported outside of enterprise tiers? And I think my response to that was, I think we're still considering, but generally, like with all of when we think about a lot of the changes we made with this platform, we're trying to make it more extensible and useful to every customer, whether they're free or enterprise, and the functionality should be available to you all across different surfaces and implementations. So I think our hope is to be able to provide a serverless offering that would scale to all tiers and subscriptions when we decide it, but it obviously won't be the same level of invocations across all. So there will be restrictions and limits in place, but we don't have definitive plans on that and to share today.
And on a related note, there's a question for a UI extension that had plans to use serverless functions. Would the recommendation be to wait for HubSpot Functions? So I think that one, in general, we will provide, we do have plans to provide a migration path for any existing serverless functions that basically, once it becomes available as HubSpot Functions. So if you are looking at, again, let's come back to the design decision, right? If it makes sense in today's capabilities of what we're offering for serverless, if it makes sense for you to implement it in serverless, then know that we will be providing that migration path when it does become available. Now, if you want to avoid migration completely and the value what you're building, you feel like it can wait, then we should be able to provide more information by early next year on sort of more directional information on when it will be available.
Well, your question, I need a little help to understand, but as I read, you want to provide an app to end users, that is like users in their HubSpot account makes MCP calls to HubSpot for data retrieval, but each of these end users doesn't have HubSpot grids. So what do you recommend as a pattern for a super account that makes MCP call to the backend? MCP connection does require user level connection. So each user who is connecting with HubSpot account is connecting their HubSpot account, and MCP server returns data based on their credentials inside HubSpot. So I'm sort of failing to understand why would you want users not to, why would these users not be HubSpot users or not have HubSpot credentials? Yeah. I see that you give example for customer support. I think that is an interesting one, but it won't be solved by MCP server. Let's talk more for that.
Where is that question? Sorry, I'm trying to find.
It's marked answered. I think it's for the customer who are using HubSpot for support. So those users will not have HubSpot credentials.
Oh, got it.
Those is So it's more nuanced.
Another serverless question. To be clear, for those portals currently on Enterprise, can we deploy CMS Enterprise serverless functions in 2025.2? Answer is yes. But not app serverless functions for UI accessibility. Will that be affected in future versions? Will HubSpot Functions be app exclusive or available for CMS usage as well? Yeah. So HubSpot Functions is inclusive. It will be a single solution for all serverless use cases on the platform. And so in terms of existing use cases, the way we envision that is we will create HubSpot Functions will be the umbrella that technology that will be able to cover all existing use cases across CMS as well as for apps.
So I know we're over time, but I'll try to answer two quickly. Not sure how much we'll keep the questions open, but I think I'll tackle the first one, which is feedback we've been getting similarly about private apps that existed in the UI before, and a question from Lucas around how could we test API calls without creating a project via the CLI to basically generate a token that we could use for making those requests and verifying them. We've heard this from a number of different users, and our plan is to create a new mechanism for generating authentication tokens that can be used to test this. Hopefully that'll be coming in the next quarter or two. But we do have plans to make that simpler and not necessarily require projects to complete. The other one from Zafar is around probably too far out or broad, but any plans to integrate LangChain or agent frameworks into the HubSpot dev? And I think the short answer is yes, we want to provide ways for developers to create and define agents, specifically Breeze agents that are being built by customers and used by customers now. And so sometime in the coming year, we will likely have more to share on that front, but we're thinking about a lot of the updates that are happening in the market right now from what OpenAI announced and others that we'll consider. But the main thing is to think about is like interoperability and simplicity for developers and how they manage and create agents in the broader ecosystem.
Okay. All right. We're out of time. There's more questions. We'll try to get that to them after the session. Thank you, everybody, for attending and learning about the developer platform. We're so excited for what you all will be building. Bye.
Bye-bye.